Hey guys, what's up? It's Regine Gale, and today I'm going to be talking about the stats that got me into college. I got into UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, Chapman University, Loyola Marymount University, Occidental College, the University of Arizona, Arizona State University, and the Fresno State Honors College. And as of right now, when I'm filming this video, I'm still on UC Irvine and Stanford's waitlist. I wanted to include them in the title just to reach a bigger audience. Call that clickbait if you want. Don't think I'm gonna get into Stanford, honestly, but I got on their waitlist, so I guess that accounts for something. Keep you guys updated on whether or not I get in. We'll see. I feel like everyone who does this kind of video has to do a quick disclaimer. I'm not trying to brag in any way, shape, or form. I loved watching these videos when I was applying to college, and to get to be the person on the other end, the one who's making these videos, is so exciting because I love college YouTubers and I hope I can be one. Comment down below other video requests that you have, and I guess I'll just get started. So I'm going to start with the GPA that I applied with. I applied with a 4.0 unweighted GPA. I never dipped below an A in high school. It took a lot of crying, a lot of stress, and sacrificing lunches, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And then I also had an unweighted 4.28 GPA, which I know doesn't sound that high, but it's the highest possible GPA that you can get at my school with all the APs that they offer and dual enrollment classes and everything like that. So I'm also going to be showing you guys the classes that I took each year just so you can get an idea of what my high school life was like. So my freshman year of high school, I took English 9, I took Integrated Mathematics 2, or IM 2, I took Latin 1, I took Musicianship 1, I took PE 9, and I also took Physics. And I also took Concert Choir and Beginning Drama. So my GPA for freshman year was a 4.0. Then in my sophomore year of high school, that's when I started taking dual enrollment classes. So everyone in my grade had to take a dual enrollment class of World History. So we did World History 1 and World History 2. And then I took Latin 2, I took Musicianship 2, I took PE 10, I took Women's Ensemble, which is another type of choir that we have. It's all women, if you couldn't have guessed that. I also took Chemistry, and then I also took Advanced Math, which at my school is basically pre-calculus. So my GPA for sophomore year was a 4.125. And then in my junior year of high school, that's when I started taking AP classes. I took 4 APs, which was the max you could take at my school because that's the maximum they offered. I took AP Calculus AB. The way it works at my school is everyone starts in AP Calculus AB, and then you choose whether or not you want to be in BC for the second semester or stay in AB, and I chose to stay in AB because I hate math. I took AP US History. I took Biology, which was a dual enrollment class, so we did Bio 10 and Bio 12, I think. It was Life Science first semester and then like Animal Biology the second semester. And then I took Italian 1 and Italian 2 as a dual enrollment class at Fresno State. And then I took AP Music Theory, AP English Language and Composition, and I also took PE 11. Also, I was in show choir. And so my final GPA for junior year ended up being a 4.8. For my AP test for this year, my junior year, I got a 3 in AP Calculus AB. I know it's super embarrassing. Trust me when I tell you that math is not my strong suit. I got a 3 in AP Music Theory. Music is also not my strong suit. I got a 4 in AP US History and a 4 in AP English Language and Composition. And then in my senior year of high school, I took 3 AP classes and I ended up only having 4 periods of the day, so I was done at lunch. I took AP English Literature and Composition, or I'm still taking AP English Literature and Composition. I'm in AP Statistics, AP Econ / Government. It's different at my school. We don't split it up into AP Micro and AP Macro. It's just one big block of AP Econ. And then I also took Musicianship 4, PE 12, and I was in show choir and chamber choir for my first semester, but I ended up dropping chamber choir second semester so I could take a dual enrollment biological psychology class at Fresno State. My GPA for the first semester at least was a 4.5, I think, and my second semester is still going on, so I don't know what I got on those AP tests, and I don't know what my final GPA is yet. Okay, so that's all the classes I took, and then how I got my GPA basically, because the 4.0, 4.125, and 4.8, if you average all of those out, it's going to be a 4.28, which is what I applied with. So moving on to my SAT/ACT/subject test, I took the SAT twice. I took it December of my junior year, and then I took it in like May of my junior year too. I got a 1350 the first time, and then I got a 1340 the second time, and I was not happy with my scores. They're okay scores, like they're good scores, but I wanted to aim higher because it was like everyone I knew was getting over 1500, which psyched me out because I couldn't do that. The SAT, I hated it. It was not good for me. And then I took the ACT once. I took it in September of my senior year, and then I got a 33 on the ACT. I like the ACT so much more. It was so much better than the SAT. So my breakdown for the ACT, I got a 36 on reading, a 35 on writing, I got a 27 on math, and then I got a 32 on science, and then for the writing portion I got an 11. As you can see, math really is not my strong suit. Okay, so now I'm going to be moving on to the interesting part of these stats videos, which is my extracurriculars. This is one of the most important parts of your college application, so don't treat it lightly. It was also my favorite part of the application besides the essays. So I'm going to be focusing more on like the UC application and how they wanted you to do it. It's pretty similar for all the other colleges too, but the amount of words you get to write about your extracurriculars is different. This is just a way for me to tell you about the extracurriculars that I did. So for the UC applications, they want you to split it up into different categories of award or honor, educational preparation programs, extracurricular activity, other coursework, volunteering/community service, and work experience. And so I had something to put in every single category except for educational preparation programs. I didn't do any because I just didn't feel the need to, or I just didn't want to, I don't know. But anyways, for awards or honors, I listed that I was a gold medalist in the National Latin Exam. If you don't know what that is, it is basically an exam that the entire nation can take, and it tests you on like Latin grammar, translating, reading comprehension, stuff like that. And I was a gold medalist, which means I scored in one of the 90 something percentile. I don't know, I listed it because it was a national award and people like to see that. I also listed a bunch of speech and debate awards because that was one of my biggest extracurriculars, which I'll get into in a second. I was also a delegate for ALA California Girls State, which is a summer camp. It's for individuals who are interested in the government. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it. It's a pretty prestigious camp, and I was honored to get the opportunity to attend it because you have to be nominated by your school and you'll be the only one from your school attending, and it was so much fun. I love all the girls I met there. And then for my extracurricular activities, my biggest one was speech and debate. I did that for 3 years. My only regret was not starting it sooner. I wish I started my freshman year. I loved speech and debate. One of my essays was about it, and I talked about how I was kind of a team captain. I didn't formally have the name because our school doesn't really do positions like that, but I did end up teaching a lot of the underclassmen how to do speech and debate. I was also in show choir for 2 years. I was a choreographer for a piece for the winter concert, which I wrote about. I was also a peer mentor, or part of the freshman leadership program. You can join this as a junior, and then you're in it your junior and senior year, and you're in charge of helping freshmen assimilate into high school. You're going to give them advice, you're going to tutor them if they need it, and you have to go through an interview process and an application to become one of those. I was also a peer minister at my church for I think 1 or 2 years. That was another leadership program that I did. We were in charge of like the life nights. We're in charge of planning the life nights, and then we could also give talks at the life nights. I was also in student council my sophomore and junior year. I was sophomore year student council publicity, and I was junior year secretary. All student councils at my school are in charge of planning a dance. So my sophomore year, I was in charge of planning the fall dance, or we call it the harvest dance. And then junior year, we were on the prom committee. That was a great way to show leadership. I had so much fun doing it. I was also in yearbook for a year. That wasn't really a big part of my high school career, mostly because I just didn't have time for it. I don't know. I mean, I could have gotten more involved if I wanted to. I was also in honor commission my senior year. That's when you're nominated by your peers to represent your class. It's kind of another program that helps hand in hand with ASB, kind of like to help the upkeep of the honor conduct around school, help people pick up trash, help keep things in order, things like that. I also played basketball for 3 years. It was only intramural basketball, so there were only like 4 teams in the league because my school doesn't really have official sports teams. But I did play basketball for 3 years. We had a game a week, and we didn't really have any practices because we don't have a gym, but it was so much fun, and that's like the only sport I can play, and I loved it. I was also in Interact Club for 4 years, and I became a board member my sophomore year, and I was vice president my senior year. Interact Club, if you don't know, is a community service club. You basically just hold a bunch of volunteer events and help make opportunities available for the people in the club. I also helped to host a lot of the volunteer opportunities. I did like a Christmas Christmas tree lane donation thing. I also did a food bank thing. Sorry I'm not going too much into detail with these. If you guys want me to read word for word what I put for my blurbs, I can do another video on that. This is kind of just a general stats video that I wanted to put out there. And then I was also in a dance group for about 3 years. We performed at most of the school dances like formal and also harvest dance. It was a student-run group, and we would practice by ourselves at lunch or at someone's house, and then we would perform, and it was so much fun. That was definitely one of my favorite parts of high school. In the other coursework section, I put some of my electives. It's not very interesting, so I'm not really going to go too much into that. And then for volunteer/community service, I spent most of my summers at the zoo. Actually, I was a junior counselor for the kids' summer program. I loved every second of it. I was in charge of supervising them, playing with them, keeping them entertained, and helping the teachers when they were teaching them about wildlife and things like that. And I racked up maybe like 300 hours from that because I would be there for like 8 hours a day every summer, and it was so much fun. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love kids. It's what got me to realize that I really, really love kids. I also volunteered at the local library in their summer program where they reward kids for reading a certain number of books. I also volunteered at the local hospital. I was in the gift shop, so I was in charge of blowing up balloons, arranging flowers, and delivering them, and then I also got to work the cash register once in a while. Under work experience, I had 2 jobs for high school. So I worked at a sleep lab, and I started my senior year. Basically, if you don't know, a sleep lab is a doctor's clinic that treats individuals who have sleep apnea or insomnia, and they come for overnight sleep studies where the doctor studies their REM cycles and tries to help them. And so basically, I was a customer service representative. I helped answer calls and schedule appointments, and then I also faxed and filed paperwork. I was also hired as a tutor by my high school my sophomore year. It was the first year that the program started, and I was one of the only 3 sophomores who were hired, and I was hired to tutor in Latin, but I also tutored, I ended up tutoring in everything like English, musicianship, and history, more of the humanities side instead of math and sciences, because we all know I'm terrible at those. I would work 1 hour a week, and then for my job at the sleep lab, I would work 6 hours a week first semester, and then I started working 10 hours a week next semester. And that's basically it for all my extracurriculars. So I went over my GPA, my tests, and my extracurriculars, and that's all I'm gonna do for this video. If you want me to go more into detail in my application, I can do that. I can do reading the essays that got me into the UCs, reading the essays that got me onto the Stanford waitlist, because I actually really liked my Stanford application, and I'd be so fine with reading it, but that's if you guys want to see it, because I didn't get accepted, I got waitlisted, but whatever. If you want me to go more into depth with my extracurriculars, I can do that as well. I can read you what I wrote about the extracurriculars if you want me to. Any other videos that you guys want to see, I can go ahead and do those for you. Just comment down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!